All right, welcome back.
Hi.
It's now time for
Hi.
5A. 5B, hello, 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 and hello.
Hi, my friend.
Eagle
Peeze, not
GM
Eagle
is
Fun.
like, what the hell's wrong with you?
I thought the CD was skipping.
The universe is skipping.
Today's millennials don't know what CDs are.
Or anti-skip for that matter.
Yes. Remember that? You used to sell that anti-skip thing for your CDs?
I had like a Boss one that like it was an MP3 CD player and had like some seconds and
The silver Panasonic one?
Yes!
There, the blue?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that
man.
shit.
All right, boys. It's time to dive in. 5A and 5B.
Let's go.
Breaking news.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
We seriously don't have a sound set up? Like
I actually don't
Okay,
know.
but
You have sound for everything
The
but
closest
this.
I got is this.
Oh, that would have been good.
That's awesome.
But you screwed it over.
it sounds like
because
you
you
got a
could've
piece
done it
ripping
before.
his pants down the middle.
that happens. That
You had the
happens
beep beep
often.
sound earlier to mute
All right,
me.
so before we get to the breaking news, is this pertain to what was discussed off air about 2 hours ago?
Yes.
No.
This
Okay.
is fresh off the press. It hasn't been announced yet, so this
All right,
is
so
literally
not even- it's
fresh.
Eagle,
fresher
go
than
ahead.
the
You will
press.
be the honor to.
You will be the honor.
Yeah, you will be the honor to do it.
So, through a complete fluke, actually, it just so happens, the Rednecks are forfeiting their Week 11 game versus the Mavericks, resulting in a 30-0 win for the Mavericks and changing the playoff seeding in Division 5A Conference A, if I'm not mistaken. What this
So this
means
screws up
is
the
there's
whole
been a
script.
restructuring of all the playoff seeds for
Okay.
5 through 7 at
Here
this
comes
point.
panic.
Exciting
down.
stuff. Go ahead.
So we got 10 guys, 1 cup is now the 5th seed. Mud Dogs are now the 6th seed. Mavericks actually get into the playoffs through that win and take the 7th seed. Warriors retain their 8th seed. And Rednecks, thanks for playing. Thanks for cheating. Goodbye.
So who's playing who now?
So we have Greendale Human Beings continue to play the Warriors. Smoke and Axolotls will be playing the Mavericks. Hot Boys Hotline play the Mud Dogs. And Half a Stars or A Stars are playing 10 guys, 1 cup. Please check the schedule. All the games were at 8 o'clock beforehand, either in Lachine or Brothard. There's been a couple changes to the schedule, so please go check that. There's going to be emails going out to the captains very soon.
Yeah.
We're
We're gonna need your help, Eagle.
Yeah, we're gonna need your help. Okay.
So can I take 2 cheap shots?
Yes, go ahead.
All right.
I'll
So
give you
one
3.
I said last week, Redskins as a Rednecks, they tend to shoot themselves in the foot, and we see that happen.
Vinny
Flex the
Galano's
cool
team.
Second thing, Redskins, Nick Below of the week.
Vinny Galano's the week.
And you give me a third one, dude. You're an adult male. You shouldn't have blonde hair. Continue.
Okay. Horns.
Why? That's not nice.
Texas Bearmans. Is that still a legitimate playoff matchup?
Yes.
Okay, let's dive into that, guys.
Nice.
All right. So the
Why
Horns.
do you have
Thank
to take
God.
shots at me for that?
You
So
told
the
me to take 3
Horns.
shots.
I said
Who?
pew, 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 pew.
Yeah,
I said 3.
You said I'll give you a third shot.
Yeah. You took
So
the
I
first
took a
shot.
shot your hair.
All right. So the
Next
Horns
one's your
won that
inability to grow a
game,
beard.
37-19.
What beer?
John Mooney 6 TDs, Jalen Granson 3 TDs, 3 INTs. Are we now finally going to say, hey, the Horns finally have it all aligned for them to finally get to the playoff final and win one?
If they don't this year, they won't. Period. And yes, I'm predicting the future. And yes, you can say whatever you want, but I think this is in all the seasons the Longhorns have been in, which is probably our longest. Jim, is the Longhorns our longest franchise ever?
Are they the
Technically,
longest
no,
ones?
because they were the Cowboys before they were the Longhorns.
But is it the same guy?
But in terms of the core group of guys.
Is it the same?
Like, exact same?
Wow. You know what I'm saying?
How many do you qualify as the same team? Is it
Like
3? Is
5
it
or
4?
6?
Is it 5? Is it 5 or
Well,
6?
the Wolverines are the longest tenured team, right?
Yes.
Since
So
winter
the
of
Longhorns would be
05.
like second-ish. Anyways.
No, not even close.
Okay.
Finest would be 06,
Cool.
winter of 06. Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Good
so
point, Simon.
so for all these seasons they've been together, I think this is their
Window.
Door.
best opportunity, most probable,
All right.
their biggest chance. Their word it whatever you want. This is their one shot at it.
One shiny moment.
Yes.
I believe.
I mean, also, time is not fun, and it's not on Longhorn side.
No, Father Time will catch up
That
to
also works with what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Now or
I'm adding
never.
to it.
Father Time will catch up to them, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
so
who
kid-
could cover Rob Allen in this division?
Well, that's the thing, though. You look at the
There are
Bearmans, right?
guys.
Sorry?
There are guys.
The Bearmans
Can you name
defense,
two?
79 Ts. Can that be the difference maker in this football game? There's 79 Ts on defense for the Bearmans.
If one thing could be, that's it. John Moody tends to throw interceptions because his style of play, he takes risks, but he has the weapons this season to put those odds in his favor. So I think he has the right to team, but Bearmans could potentially have the right matchups. I was talking earlier, was saying nobody can cover Rob Allen. Maybe Jalen Grandison.
I was going to say, there's one of them
maybe
on this
Jalen
team.
Grandison.
I don't think it's maybe. I think he can. I
Okay.
think it's a very similar skill set. They're very similar kind of players.
But looking at this division,
Mm-hmm.
I could name Jalen's one, maybe a second guy, but it doesn't come up.
Look, if Jalen shadows Rob Allen everywhere he goes on the field, though, Rob is creating the mismatch with every other
Yeah.
receiver.
So that's the thing,
If
John-
he focuses his efforts on Rob, that'll be a problem.
Because you make it sound like John Moody's going to chuck it up regardless
No.
to Rob Allen, and that's not John Moody's game. John
No.
Moody is something less cliched than cerebral, but he's cerebral. And the thing is that he's very good at picking up on what matchups the defense is giving him. And I think what might happen is Texas Bearmans will panic, and Jalen Grandison will come off of Rob Allen, and that's when we'll see Rob Allen have an effect.
Do you trust Jalen Grandison as a quarterback in this game?
Yes. Yes.
I agree with that too.
I think he's better than we're giving him credit for all season long.
He also learned
Yeah.
as the season
It's
progressed.
just like we started with a narrative and we hadn't seen it before. So it's like, well, you got to show us. And then even when he shows us, we still stuck to that narrative. But he's been good. He's been solid. I think this will be a better matchup than we would have thought coming into the season.
All right, Finessers, Kane season. They tied 28-28, which was last week, by the way. They played each other.
Cool.
Does any team take away something from that tie game in their preparation for round number 2?
Maybe.
All right.
I mean,
Analysis.
you're asking a question that it's like, I don't know. It's a stupid question. So
Well, not really,
sorry
because you're
about
supposed to do your prep work, right?
that. Well, Clive, if I could put the script on the screen, people would laugh at you. So I won't, because I'm nice to you.
Well,
You
that,
realize there's a camera and you can actually do it, right?
yeah, you could. Genius.
Should
Didn't realize that.
Oh,
Wait a minute, we're doing camera work
should
here.
I do this now? Could we go with this?
So Finesse's Hurricane season, like honestly, so we've been talking about some of the divisions so far tonight, and we've said, man, these are all bad matchups. I feel 5-8 might have some of the most compelling first round games, and this is one of them. What do both teams take from this game is, man, we're two very evenly matched teams, and my God, if we make a mistake, this game could be over.
But you look at Jared Tiller, right? As a quarterback, he's
I
been...
I think the second mistake makes it over. I think both teams are going to make one mistake. So there's going to be both quarterbacks are going to go similar to now, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, but maybe 5 to 1.
Finessers have a better defense, so would you agree? They've been ball hawking. They've held some teams under 20 points here. Can they force Jared Taylor to some
but
multiple mistakes, though?
The Canes have a very good offense also. Jared Taylor doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's mobile enough to not force balls. He's going to run. If he doesn't like what he's seeing, he's going to run, which gives him an opportunity not to make any stupid throws.
Yes, Eagle.
The script is now on the screen.
Thank you.
It took Eagle to do that for you, Simon.
Well, yes, it's his job. He's producing the show.
Sure. Ryan Caruth, he's very confident. You read his
He's good.
You read Corey Wallowski's article, about
He's good.
MVP,
I like him.
whatever it is. Could that be a detriment in this game against Kane's season?
No, I mean, you want your quarterback to be confident. You want him to handle adversity. The way he does that is not by getting to his own head. You don't want a quarterback to be a head case.
He needs to. I agree with you. He needs to be confident enough that if he makes one mistake,
It's not the
that
end of
he
the
could
world.
go back and say it doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm good enough.
He
to
looks the
double up.
position, though, right? Like the
Oh,
arm sleeves, the
I
headband.
think I've told not only that, his actual form. Like I think I've told the story 1,000 times on the podcast, but there are always new viewers. The first time I saw him play was in a scrimmage game where I was like, "Oh, what's this team? Div 2?" And it was not. It was Div 5 team that was terrible. But he's amazing. He has all the skills to play high division FPF.
Probably, yeah. I agree. He
It
looks.
just hasn't come together.
Yeah,
Like, I saw him last week at the basketball event that I was at, and he's like, "Man, we're confident." Regionals of the Nationals.
Yeah.
National
Bantam,
regionals.
double A.
Well, I mean,
but-
anything could be a region.
Yeah, exactly. of the Nationals.
Bantam,
But
double A.
he said he was very confident. He goes, "Our team is locked in," and not to say that we're going to win it, but he goes, in essence, we don't think anyone can beat us when we're at our top right now.
Also, best Brazilian wide receiver, Alexandre Bacalani.
Oh, he's very good.
He had a monster
Very
game last
talented.
week. 8 catch for 103 touchdowns. I
There you
mean,
go.
he could be the difference in this game.
What is the national monster of Brazil Eagle? If you can look that up,
Is it Blanco?
Is it the Chupacabra?
Is it
Is it this fighter from the character from Street Fighter?
Blanca.
Blanca. Oh
Blanca,
yeah, it might be
yeah,
Blanca.
Yeah.
That's not bad, dude. That's not bad.
Yeah, it is.
That's Mo Khan digging deep.
Exactly.
That's investigative journalism by Mo
Absolutely.
Khan.
That is finest here.
Look at him. He's like he's not
That's
even
funny.
happy right now. He's probably
Finally done it. All right.
whatever.
Grand Lionel against LFF. Lionel won 39-30. Schaefer with 5 TDs. Thibault with 6 TDs. Do you trust the Lionel defense to perhaps
Thibault's not playing
Yeah.
this.
So
That's-
Sebastian Thibault is not there.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we
you
got the
trust
news.
him.
We got the news first from Dr. Spitzel, who was on the show last
Yep.
week,
Yes.
and also from his teammate.
after the show, we got a message from one of his teammates saying that
who was it again? I forgot. Antoine Brisson. Yeah.
I don't.
He said so.
Sorry.
He said he's likely done for the season.
Yeah, it's shoulder injury.
It's the Mapinguari, by the way. It's a folklore of the South American culture resembling an ape-like or slothish creature with red fur living
So
in
the
rain.
predator.
Yo, Bakalani,
It's
dye
known
your head
as-
red.
The roaring animal or the fetid beast.
That's
Yo,
what Blanco
I
was,
like
no?
it.
What?
This is
Blanca
not
had
what-
red or like
no, there
orange
we go.
hair.
Orange
There we
hair,
go.
I like it.
So what's it called? The Mapinguelo?
Mapinguala.
Mapinguela? Oh yeah. Bakalani, Mapinguela. That's you,
That's
man.
new nickname.
That's your new
That's you.
nickname now.
Alexandre,
Mapinguali.
the Mapinguela, Bakalani.
I like it.
So okay, so in this case, with
So
no
hard.
Thibault,
I don't want to go there.
with no Step Thibault, what
That's why I
happens
kept
now
saying-
with this whole team?
Sorry?
What
It's-
happens
it-
with no
Honestly, it sucks, but
Yeah,
it's
season's
simple.
done.
Season's over. They might be able to beat les Flamands Fous by making plays and keeping this a very low scoring affair, but sadly their dream season is over.
Okay, so that's pretty much
they-
that's it.
I had good hopes for Ghana. I
Yeah.
thought they could make it the conference finals, be a very good contender, but losing their most dangerous two-way player takes them
And
apart.
Jeremy Durant Tremblay threw 3 interceptions last week, sacked 4 times. It's not going to look good.
But what do you want
Not
to do?
good.
Like the play,
That's not his fault. It just,
it might be his first ever season as a game as a quarterback,
Yeah.
and now he's tossed to the playoffs. Like, hey, losing, we're out.
Yeah.
This is fun.
it's not fun.
in that case, GHB Wars, maybe that's a little bit closer. GHB won 32
No.
to 19. Elwood had 5 TDs, Solomani 3 TDs, 3 INTs. The Warriors, we know their MO, their DNA. They implode, they explode, they take bad penalties here. Can they play a disciplined football game now?
Yes.
No.
I think
Watch
they
them.
will. I think they know better now than to make stupid mistakes and take dumb
But the
penalties.
problem is that this is the kind of team that's going to infuriate them. Greendale human beings, like you get infuriated by watching the same play eat up your defense over
Same
and
play
over
worked
and
20
over.
times in one game.
Yeah, because their execution's ridiculous.
If they could find a way to take that play away,
There is a way.
yes. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying if they can do it.
So where do the Warriors have the advantage then in this game?
If they become the Warrior from last winter, where
Time travel's their advantage. Is what
yeah,
you're saying.
basically,
All right, cool.
go back in time. They need to be able to go back to having explosive plays offensively. They used to have a 40 bomb. They used to have deep hooks that worked for them. And now it feels like their offense is just flat. They score a little bit, but they never really get that rhythm again where they're dangerous again. Where Michael Solimani,
Solomani,
thank you,
pass.
he was quarterback of the year last winter, no?
Yeah.
Was it last winter?
I believe so. He in Division 6 he threw something like 96.
But he's only a 55% passer now. So do you trust him?
No,
at
but
this
what else
point?
I'm
But his
saying.
style has always lended itself to not having an efficient style of play, but it was a game breaking style. It is a game breaking
Yeah.
style of play.
But if they could go back to him being explosive and dangerous and taking the top off defenses like that, yes, they could potentially make a run. But
Like
they
a
don't.
bag of razor blades.
But they don't have the confidence anymore, and they don't feel like it's that team again, and that's what worries me.
Yeah.
So GHB, like they coasted through the regular season.
One bad loss though.
Yeah, but look,
Again, right next
reality
2
was
weeks ago.
their division was wrapped up by week 6.
Oh yeah.
Like it was but
But the thing is, they lost against Rednecks, and they had a forfeit win that they didn't play
yes,
last week,
S-
so
that's
they
why.
haven't played since their loss.
That's right. So now my question is though, can that be a detriment early on, or
No.
can they lose a bit of rhythm and not?
No,
be
because
in
they've played together so long that I don't think it has any impact.
I think it could if Warriors come off to a hot start. If Warriors, so GHB gets the coin toss because there's no coin toss because it's the playoffs. So they choose. If they choose to defer, Warriors score in the first play 40 ball. What now?
That's your prediction.
Then
If
then
it happens,
Greendale human beings do a thing where they march the field and they infuriate you. You get mad.
or
and
they
score.
march the field and then interception. and then 12 or 13 nothing. In that particular scenario, I could see Greendale Human Beings going off the rails.
Anyway, stopping in.
I don't think so. I think they're far less likely to get off the rails than Warriors.
They're the favorite to go to the finals. But if there's one way to beat them, it's to get off to a really hot start and put pressure on them offensively.
Alward, Joltopov combined for 33 touchdown passes. Anyway, stopping this duo.
No.
Be faster than Brandon Aylward.
And be able to cover Joltopov at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, I actually think the best way to defeat them is if you have 5 athletes who can play man across the board and a good rusher to contain Danny Aylward. So not a lot of teams.
Double cover Aylward, double cover Joltopov, and then man up on a random guy every play.
I mean, they're gonna get torched.
Yeah, that
You don't know that.
I do know that.
That sounds like a terrible plan.
Preacher's Ghost did not meet during the regular season. Could Zach Kiviget outduel Gab Wiseman in this game at the quarterback
Yes, he
position?
could.
Why?
Because anything is possible.
Yes,
Yes, because we don't know the future. Because Gab Wiseman is not an explosive quarterback. He's a smart. He buys time. He finds ways to beat you. But Zachary Kiviget does have the ability to score with ease, and when their offense is on, it looks unstoppable.
I mean, I know you said explosive, but I heard nexplosive, and that's just a great visual.
That's just better.
Yeah, just exploding necks everywhere. Yeah, so I think that it takes a very specific game plan for Ghosts to win this one, and I think that
I think on paper, Ghosts have the better team.
yes,
But
I think it's a matchup where they can see Preachers get off to a hot start and put up a lot of points.
So who's more important for the Ghost success? Is it Alexis Gaumont or is it Zach Zorin who's going to be?
Alexis Gaumont.
I say Zach Zorin. Why do you say?
Why do you guys
I
say
like
either player?
So Alexis Gaumont is he takes the top off the defense. He's the guy in the middle that is tall and tough to cover, and he's the explosive guy. Zach Zorin is more like the possession receiver. So we know Zach Zorin's going to be able to get a lot of move the chains and a lot of yards, but they won't win solely with Zach. You need Alexis, but the other way around is not true. Where if they only have Alexis, they only have big plays, they'll still win.
Nah, give me double Z top. I like him because
Double Z top.
yeah. Think about it for 5 seconds.
Yes, I see it, but
There we go.
it's clever.
So,
I don't see
I
how
mean,
we
the
have
more
it.
attention you draw to it, the less clever it becomes. So the thing is, he's the guy that moves
Really?
the chains. He's the
That's
guy.
not
Like if we took
You're lying right now.
if we took
You're not.
if we kept track of first downs, Zach Zorin would have a much bigger statistical season than we even know. And so give me Zach Zorin as being the key for this team.
Last one, I was going to say, Ghosts are on offense. They're down by 5. 1 play to go. Who are they going to in the end zone from the 10-yard line? Zorin or
Actually, come
Gaumont?
on.
On last play of the game,
Yeah.
Zorin.
Zorin.
Zorin's been their guy. Because
On last play of the game, Zorin. But if there's 4 plays, who gets the most targets? Alexis going to get 2 out of 4.
That's fair.
Okay, so with the
But
shuffle.
also, ghosts are invisible, so what they do might not be apparent.
Like Casper, yes. So
Casper's a terrible parent.
okay, no problem.
Thank you.
There we go.
I don't have a ghost booth. That's as close as I
It's
have.
like it's like the
Alright.
first time you get it right.
So half stars take on 10 guys, 1 cup.
You go. Can you just tell us the matchups, please?
I have it right here. Hot Boys Hotline against Mud Dogs and Smoking A's against Mavericks. So we'll go
Thank you,
Smoking
Yo.
A's Mavericks first game here. The A's won 51-6 against the Mavericks. On the fly,
Is this a better matchup for Smoking Axolots than Mud Dogs?
Yes.
well, I think so. I think the Mud Dogs are a
So
tougher matchup.
So Smoking Axolots kind of got away with one here.
So is this going to be karma for the Mavericks of snitching on Rednecks for them to get cracked by the Smoking A's?
They will get stitches, that's for certain. But last time around, Mavericks didn't have the narwhal himself, Korwalski. That completely changes the team.
It's
So,
yes.
It won't be 51-6. I also
So
think
51-12?
No,
No,
it won't be 51.
No.
It also won't be 6.
It also won't be 6.
I think it's going to be closer, but I don't think that Mavericks as the team to compete with Smoking Axolots.
I think. Look, what they've even done to even be in position to snitch and get into the playoffs is impressive because I think they're one of the weaker rosters overall in the division. They have good players, but it's not there together. But conversely, Smoking Axholes, maybe again they have Rory Smargian, for example, great player, but they have a lot of very good players across the board.
Yes.
So I think for that reason, Smoke and Axel's still favored to win the game.
So the Hot Boys Hotline take on the Mud Dogs. They had no meeting between the two teams here. The Hot Boys Hotline initially were going to take on 10 Guys, 1 Cup. Both tough matchups.
I think this is a better matchup
This is
for
definitely a
Mud
better
Dogs.
matchup for them.
This is a better matchup for Mud Dogs. Our Boys Outline should be an easier / better game than Smoke and Axots would have been. So Mud Dogs are the winner here.
But you look at Valme, Gayhouse, we know about their 1-2 punch, even between the Dan Lazare saying, look, that's the guy you got to stop here. Can the Mud Dogs do that with success and
Yes.
trying to win this game over?
I think they have the players to line up and be able to contain him at least a little bit. And I think Mud Dogs have more athletes to be able to cover and make Tom Gatehouse life a living nightmare.
Tom Gatehouse also doesn't have the best form necessarily, and I think Sebastian Garcia is going to
Oh
affect
man, that guy
him
is
more.
fast.
Yeah, he's going to
man.
affect him more than Tom Gatehouse would expect.
He's a quick rusher, and he's difficult to play against because of that.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's not the tallest guy, so he comes in low, and you're not gonna break him because his center is centre de gravité.
Center of gravity. Literally the same words.
I wasn't sure.
All right.
Is lower than yours, so he's able to cut quicker than you are. So you're not gonna burn him.
So, Peeze, would you rather chew on glass, eat glass, than give Tom Gatehouse the 5A championship trophy?
Well, I'm really happy with my oral hygiene, so I'm going to say no.
Why would anybody want to chew on glass?
But to be fair, to Mo's point,
Because
It's
Mo
close.
is likening it to something unsavorable. So
unsavory.
unsavory.
That's
Unsavory. There you
Yeah.
go.
no, but that's that next level. You're biting on glass.
No, but that is the simile. in
Yes,
that
I understand.
This is as bad as
Could you say like I don't know, like bite a
Walk on
cactus?
glass?
But that's just as unpleasant.
No, bite on glass is the worst. You're just cutting yourself in the mouth
But I mean,
all
also,
over.
like, we're assuming they're glass shards and not like a glass bottle you could just like bite into and nothing happens.
Yes, glass shards. So you cut yourself all over,
Yeah,
You're
but
assuming
and then you have to go to ER.
It could be just a piece of glass.
You would rather bite a cactus and then have to take all the thorns out? Really?
Those
That,
are-
that actually sounds worse, to be
No,
honest.
that sounds better than
Or
glass.
porcupine would be pretty bad too.
Bite a porcupine.
Well, as long as you eat it forward, you're good.
Bite a porcupine.
Porcupine.
It's bad news, man.
But again, we talked about the Longhorns, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
Previously, how it's lined up for them. What about for Hot Boys Hotline? Is it now lined up for them? This is probably
No, this is not good. This
I
is
think. Well, 10 Guys wasn't an easy out. Neither is Mud Dogs.
Hot Boys Hotline again, matchup dependent, and they didn't get the matchup.
There's
Either way.
so they lost on the snitching bike.
Well,
pretty
in
last
general, I
game.
think both teams were just bad matchup for Hot Boys Hotline.
Cav Stars, 10 Guys, 1 Cup. The 10 Guys, 1 Cup duo won 32
Hey, that's an
26.
interesting game now.
And I watched that game. I remember that was a Monday night at Hebert, and that was a chippy affair. Like, both teams, no love lost with these teams here.
That's an interesting game now.
It becomes very fascinating, Simone and Peeze.
Much better than the previous matchups that we had. Alpha Stars, they're very good. Andrew Lambert is having a very surprisingly, I'll be honest, it's his first time as a quarterback. I wasn't expecting him to be this successful, but he had a pretty phenomenal season. The team around him is playing really well too. He's not taking a lot of risks. He's not turning the ball over. But 10 Guys, 1 Cup also have a very good team.
And deep too.
Yeah, it's yes.
Dan
it's not just one guy.
Lazare, he won the award in Div 5A. Can he
Yeah.
be a difference maker in this football game?
Against Alpha Stars, I think they don't have... Dan Lazare could be able to match up against any of their receivers well, which is very good for 10 Guys, 1 Cup. Whereas if they would have played Hot Boys Outline, Dan Lazare can't match up against Edouard Valmy.
Mm-hmm.
But against Alpha Stars, I do believe he could match up against anybody.
Yeah, and then they still have Justin looking about. They still have Darren McDaisy.
Oh yeah, the team is very the team's very
Just
good.
Darren, please.
Just Aaron.
Sorry.
Just Aaron.
Just
The
Aaron.
team is very good, but this helps them. This matchup is better for them. It's still going to be a very interesting game because I don't think Andrew Lambert is going to make a lot of mistakes. If he throws one interception, maybe, but I don't see two. I do not see a second one.
But I can see drives ending. I can see.
I
them
could
not
see punts
converting.
instead of
yeah.
picks. I don't
Punts
see a
and
high.
fourth downs are not converted.
But this won't be a high scoring affair.
I agree.
28-27 final?
Ooh,
Or
less
even
than that. 26.
24-19.
26-20?
We're just saying random numbers.
The clock's going down right now. By the way, we're about 4 minutes behind. We're actually at the 25-minute mark of the show.
Time has fallen.
Yes. 5B, Mogadishu Pirates against Les Affreux. The Pirates won 31-13.
Ooh, I
Joe
like that.
Cano, 5 TDs. Matthew Dumont, 2 TDs, 3 INTs. Nick
Pirates.
Papich, 12 TDs this year. The younger brother is Sasa Papich, who's taking a year off. If
Well,
you
'cause
are...
he's not in town.
Yeah, he's in Panama. Les Affreux, what do you do to stop this force of Nick Papich?
Stop. What's the matter with you?
Tough day.
What did you eat?
It's
Oh, he's
tough
farting.
day.
Oh, I thought you said to the
It's like the 10th time today.
Yeah, it's guys. I'm on a combination of sugar,
No one cares.
Percocet, and I don't even remember what I ate.
So in this case, how do you stop Nick Papich? I mean, this has been their
Okay,
guy
so
for
the,
the
the,
Pirates.
the one thing that Les Affreux could do against the Pirates is they need Daniel Belfort, the rusher, to have a phenomenal game. So they
Yeah.
need to get in Joe Cano's face, make it very uncomfortable, force him to release balls earlier than he would want to, and not be able to connect with Nick Papich on these deep throws. That's the first thing they need to do.
And that's always been the cornerstone of their defense.
It's always been how the
Daniel
Affreux
Belfort.
works. Is they have good tacklers, they take away the first read, and they expect the rusher to take away the rest. Now, they've been successful doing this a few times this season, but they were games where they allowed 40-something points. So what Affreux defense are we going to see?
The thing is, Les Affreux, their offense has not put up 40 points at all.
But it's not what they do, though.
No,
Mathieu
that's the thing,
Damon
that's
is
the thing,
not
though. I
a
agree.
6-touchdown quarterback.
That's 100%, but is it more on their defense to win this football game then? If you're not going to score 40, maybe not 30 points, is it going to be on the
Could
defense?
they make the game very slow and Mathieu Damon has 2 rushing touchdowns?
Can they make it pragmatic? Can
Yeah.
they make it slow down offense?
I think that's what they need to do, first of all. I also think that they could if they game plan around it, but I could see situations where they plan something and then they just don't respect their own game plan.
But let's not forget, Mogadishu Pirates, their defense held 6 teams to less than 20 points this year.
It's a very good
Okay,
team.
but like also the teams that they've scored the most points against are also teams that struggled the most. Struggled like
They
like
feasted on the
Browns,
weakness.
Boucherville, yeah, Finners, the Speakeasy to a degree.
So all teams that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think there's a chance where Mogadishu Pirates are a little overblown.
Possibly.
So you think they're overhyped?
Yes.
Possibly. That's exactly what he said. But yes.
To a degree, and their offense specifically. So I think it might be a game that happens in the mid-20s, and I know last time they played, that wasn't the case. They scored 30, and they held Lafleur down. But I think if Matt Damon has a safe game, and Daniel Belfort is able to take away the big play from Mogadishu Pirates, that works to Les
But
Affreux.
they also have good, like they also have Mathieu Dubois as a very good corner who's able to match up against Nick Papich decently enough that
yeah, well, so that's the thing. It's going to be how Joe Cano uses the rest of his entourage.
yes.
If he can hit a lot of slants and drags underneath, and develop the deep ball instead of just taking a deep shot.
Yeah,
I
but
think that'll be
again,
interesting.
I think it's really come down to the rusher. If he takes away the second read and he's forced to go to his first read quickly, then if the defense can be aggressive enough to jump those the way they used to a few years ago, Africa could have a very strong defensive game.
Also, like Daniel Belfort has like freakishly long arms. Like
Oh yeah,
they look like mechanical octopus arms.
oh yeah.
Wrecking Crew, Team YS, the crew won 27-20. Wrecking Crew defense, 24 INTs, 30 PDs. Can Team YS afford to throw an INT and still win this football game against a very good ball hawking defense?
So the thing with Wrecking Crew is they're very methodical and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Team YS is sort of the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Where they don't care if they make a mistake because they believe they can score on every single play.
So they have the Oregon style of approach then.
Yeah. So if they make one mistake, I think they could find a way to make the clock work in their favor where they get the ball back with 3 plays and still score before the half. Now, the thing is, it's going to come down to clock management, and I give the edge to Wrecking Crew here. It's not something we usually discuss in lower divisions, but it's if you could get 1 or 2 extra possessions just because you take your timeouts properly and you get 4 or 5 plays before the half and you score,
Yeah, and
it could
But-
cancel turnovers.
But you look at the explosive ability of Pierre Massé, Masterdub, and Stoudemire. They all had 10-plus TDs, 450 yards receiving or more.
Yep.
Can any of those guys break open this game? Can they be the difference maker in
I
this
think
football?
all of the guys,
Any
all
of
of them can.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
3 of them can.
Any of them or all of them.
So,
can
okay,
in the
okay,
same
so
game.
if
If
you
all
pick-
of them,
if you had to pick
then-
one out of the 3 right now, who could be the major difference of why they win and lose? Who is it?
Sam Mashrub's a really good player. but I think Nicolas Pierre-Massé is having a
Yeah.
very strong season.
Yes, Jim.
It's the question of could versus what will happen, because Sam Ashtoub is probably one of the more talented players, not only on this team but in this division. But it seems to be a little bit of tunnel vision and going like exclusively to the guys in the slot. So Pierre Massé, whereas Sam is out on the right wide receiver and doesn't see a
The
lot
W
of action
spot.
there. Yeah.
And then one thing I will say about Sam Ashtoub, and GM and I coached Sam. Sam Ashtoub never drops a ball until he drops a ball, and then it begins. Like he kind of he
gets
has
one drops and then he gets
yeah,
20.
he has a propensity, and his worst enemy is himself, because he's a very good route runner. He's a very good athlete. He's tall. He does have good hands, but he just needs to stay calm.
He gets in his
not
own
worry,
head.
not worry that he's making a mistake.
He
and just-
gets in his own head. He
Exactly.
drops one, then he believes, oh, he's going to drop all of them, and then he drops all of them.
He's
Yeah.
watching live right now, by the way. So
Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Go punch a curtain or so. They'll take him focus here. He always punches out a curtain at
What's the
Rossard.
matter with
But it's part of it is staying calm, and that's something that I think he's going to learn.
I think that'll help him.
And like a good role model for that is his older brother, who's like one of the like most even keel dudes in FPL.
Right, yeah. He
Take
does-
over Punishers. Take over 136-21. Enon Hyber, 6 TDs. Congratulations to him, by the way.
Shoe of the year.
And Armino Adiluka, 3 TDs,
Ian
3
Heber.
INTs.
Ian Heber.
Heber.
Ian Heber. How do we mispronounce his name? Ian Heber?
Ian Heber,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
don't know.
Sorry.
Who do you trust more, Ian Heber or Adiluka as a quarterback? And they've had their ups and downs, mostly for Adiluka this year. though.
I'll go with the quarterback of the year.
And
I mean,
the
there's a
guy
reason he won it.
the guy who has Vincent Benjamin and Will Power on
Look at the
field at
schedule.
same time.
Look at the schedule. Look who you threw that touchdowns against, though.
Okay, so go more in depth, Mokan. Tell me what you think.
Takeover. The schedule was not so hard, and yeah, you put up good numbers.
So you're saying they're not very good.
This is a true test, is it not? Punishers?
Okay.
A lot of questions being asked, no answers being
Mo
given.
Mo
I'm
refuses to
taking-
make statements.
No, the Punishers are a true team, right? Look at the size, right? Junior Sparrow and Anthony Seja both had strong seasons. Do they have anyone that can match up size-wise with these two big
Well,
bodies?
first of
or
all, nobody
muscle?
can match up size with Junior Sparrow.
No, one can, but you're going to have to figure out something to stop him, right? Or
Again, so I think it's not size. I think it's speed. And if you can trick Yadaluka to throwing to him as you're undercutting the snapper's route, it could be dangerous because you get a full head of steam, picking them off and heading towards the end zone.
Yeah. So the pick six opportunities are there, but now
But
Yeah,
it's tough
do
to play
you-
that kind of
I
defense.
Would you
think this
take-
is the kind of game that could go to 40 points. Like it could be like a 41-39 score.
Yeah.
Both offenses could go off, and both defenses could be
And
completely
again,
absent.
so the other side, can a Punishers defend Vincent Benjamin and William Power?
Who do you, yeah, well,
I
that's
don't
it,
think so.
right? Who do you take, though? Would you take that duo to expand on your question? Would you
yes.
take that duo over Seja and Junior Sparrow?
Yes.
No,
I disagree with you.
So why do you
I
disagree
think
with that?
I think because of the matchups here, both duos will not be stoppable.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But
I won't take one over the other
but
because they're
me
both.
give me the two guys who can literally score from any place on the field versus
The
Anthony
two
Seja.
guys who could go score. If I'm at the middle field, I'm 20 yards away,
Mhm.
and I have Antonio Seja or Junior Sparrow, and Junior Sparrow or Vincent Benjamin and William Power. The routes are different, but the opportunities are the same.
I mean, I
In this
guess-
matchup, neither teams could defend properly. So I
yeah,
think
it's gonna be high scoring. To your point,
I think both duos have an opportunity of scoring 4 or 5 times.
All right, Sturden Black Knights. Sturden won 26-21. Tremblay with 3 TDs. La Rosilière 2 TDs, 1 INT. I know the Knights are very confident. They thought they could wreck and crew. That never happened for them. Knights have the athletes, but Sturden, are they the ultimate test considering how athletic and gifted they are as a football team? And they're good. I've watched them
Stellam's
play.
good, man.
They're a good
It's-
team. They
It's a
can-
strong team. Thank you, Eagle, for that. It's a strong team, but they have their ups and downs. Like they're not as consistent as they need to be to become a true contender in this division. But they have their moments, and when they do, man, that's a good team. And Black Knights, they're a bit more consistent, but they're not.
But
They don't have the same ceiling, though.
They have a lot of athletes. They had a roster.
Oh yeah,
of
they're
85
underachieving
guys,
for
but
sure. They have a bunch of guys
But
down on that
it's
team
also-
that could be stars, but
I mean, also Sturdam has had a roster of 85 guys too, but the efficiency that we saw from Stéphane Rosilière this season much better. And
Yes.
like, the thing we always say is, yeah, guys have a CIS pedigree, but FPF is different. This was the case for Stefan Rosalier, and he's adapted really well.
But was it a case of having a more consistent roster?
It's having guys
It
who can
helps.
catch the balls he throws, because my God, does he throw hard.
Oh man,
And
he's a
he
CIS
had
I'll tell
so
you
many,
quarterback.
yeah, but like he also like there are pitchers in CIS, and there are pitchers who throw like heat. He's one of those guys who throws.
Yeah,
heat.
he always had a hard ball, but man, he doesn't give you any sort of repeat. If you're doing a 5-yard hook, it's gonna come so hard that you might break your hands.
I'll tell
But
you
he doesn't
this.
care. He's not
Yeah.
gonna slow down
Catch
for you.
paralysis.
I'll tell you this. When I saw him last week at the National Regionals,
Nice.
as you have to call it,
Bantam Dole.
and I took his arm, I go, this rocket arm, I was holding it with 2 hands. This rocket arm of yours can...
Can you actually lift it, or did he help you?
It was
because
so
you're soft?
heavy. I had to use 2
He was-
hands.
He was
plus-
spotting you.
He was spotting me to spot his own arm, right? So,
Did you rip it off his body when you lifted it up and then reattached it afterwards?
No.
Or are you just dangling it from
like
his
this.
He's not a
I
machine.
go,
He
this
don't-
arm of yours can throw a spiral through this wall like 100 times.
Why
that
is
what
he
you
letting
said?
you touch the moneymaker?
And I think I messed him up because he lost last Saturday in Brossard. But anyway,
He's off balance.
Yeah,
So
what do you
because
think
I-
the moneymaker is, Mokan?
maybe his arm. Knights pass rush, though, only 6 sacks they produced in this season. Can that be the difference in why they lose?
I don't think Stefan Laguzia tends to get sacked a lot.
No, but I'm saying for the Knights, though, against Sturdom.
Yes, also, both quarterbacks are good enough not to make. I wouldn't say dumb mistakes because of the sacks,
Mhm.
but they don't throw. They'll throw it in the curtain before taking a sack, which is the right thing to do.
Moss City Spartans, boys. Spartans
This is
won
a fun game.
32. Yeah, this is my favorite game, by the way. 32-19.
This is your favorite game, not all look small giants.
No, James Dandridge, 5 TDs. Desjardins, 3 TDs. For the Spartans, we know their deep ball. Is it going to be make or break for them in this game?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
say it with me.
What-
Yes.
yes. No, but the thing is, but that's kind of their identity too, and they also do it well, right? So, give me. It's taking its time to find its place and for all the pieces to come together. But give me Spartans.
We're not doing picks now.
I know.
No,
I'm
big
saying
picks.
give me their ability to score. Because I still know who I'm picking.
But
I said it weird. I
so
know.
Simon, after Bruno Provencher for Moss City, is there anyone else from Moss City that poses as a legitimate threat to the Spartans team?
So we've talked about this a lot this season, where Spartans have speed and size. They have tall guys like Dale Messi. They're fast, and
Martel.
but the thing is, they're not called Moss City for no reason. It's what they like to do best. Is they love jump balls, and the
But
problem.
they're short also. So like the
Yeah,
tallest
but
guy
yeah-
on the team was the
Yes.
quarterback.
5'9".
Yeah, but man, they
Yeah.
go up for ball. I'll be honest, I've seen them play. They're ball.
So
Yes,
they're not
you go.
named after the shrubbery?
I was gonna say their favorite thing is to find peat moss in the field.
So that being
Make
said,
a little rock garden.
looking away from the rock gardens,
Tulips.
I'd say that this is a good matchup for Moss City because the Spartans do what Moss City likes to defend.
Right.
So if he goes deep constantly and goes for those jump balls, then Moss City could. If they lose, it's because they didn't play well enough. So they won't. I feel like they'll beat them at their strongest thing, which makes Spartans a really, really strong team. Or it's like a make or break them.
So to your question, Mo, because Simon didn't answer it.
I don't know.
The next
Thanks,
guy
PZ.
after Bruno Provencher to me is Benjamin Detilly, who's always been underused in his career in FPF,
Yeah.
but he's an excellent player.
Yes.
So I like him a lot
Fun boys process.
as a friend.
The boys won 26-25 over the process. Scott Maranovich, 3 TDs, 2 INTs.
When was this? What week was this game?
I believe it was week 6 or week 7.
So before we start trusting the process?
Thank you. Derek Sannins, 4 TDs, 2 INTs.
That was
Week-
Mokan
it was
started-
Week, it was week 9, by the way.
Was it week 9?
Well, you said
I
6.
I thought it was week 6, week 7. Anyway. Dondre Borden, one of my favorite players. We spoke about
Oh,
it
boy.
earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Is this now his stage to introduce himself to the FPF world of what he is?
If you haven't been paying attention,
Yeah.
sure.
What do you mean introduce
But
himself?
no one knows who he is, though, right? 14 TDs this year.
This is your fault. You're the one talking
no,
about people.
but for everyone to say, hey, this guy can play at a higher division.
I'll give you another name because he if he's not known, you're not paying attention.
But no one is, though. Who's going to pay attention to 5B?
I mean,
Everybody.
Division 5 fans.
What's the matter with you, Mokan?
Well,
Every time
you-
you're not here hosting, we talked about DeAndre Borden.
Yeah, I don't watch you when you host. I watch Peeze.
I don't host.
No, Noah Groper is the next guy. That he's perhaps less known than Andre Borden, and like also excellent. And Denzel Eddy-Lowe hasn't played a ton this season. Only
Play
played
with
6
no name
games.
as well.
Play with
He's
no
a-
name.
He's fast.
Yeah,
He's
this
crazy
team,
fast.
this team is fast, and this team is tall, and
But
this team's athletic.
Are you surprised that they've only scored 30 points twice here? Could this end up being in a shootout? If it does, can he keep up with the paces?
So it's a learning process for Daniel Sananes. Still a new FPF quarterback, not yet efficient, but man, good arm. His ability to stretch the field is amazing, and again, so I think that will eventually bite them, and that's the thing. The lender season is their inability to do that constantly. But the defense is good. Their defense has the ability to take a couple of drives away. So if Daniel Sananes is smart and manages the clock, this can play in his favor.
Are the Fun Boys even healthy enough to field the roster? They had to forfeit one of their games. I believe it was last weekend or from 2 weeks ago. They had to forfeit.
Was it because they weren't
It was 2
healthy
weeks ago.
or because they weren't there?
A combination of both.
Okay. If Fun Boys have enough guys to play, they have a competitive roster. But I agree with you that if they show up with like 5 guys, they won't be able to keep up. This is going to be a very close game, like neck to neck game. If both teams are at their best, so if they're not, if you show up with 5 guys, don't expect to win. That's what I'm saying.
TD's Beer, Blue Team won 30-20. Deloria with 4 TDs. Avery Lada with 2 TDs, 1 INT. Jimmy
Interesting.
Turcotte, his 15 sacks. Could that be the difference in this game here, as a pass rusher?
He's good, by the way.
Yes, he is. I like Blue Team though. They've improved a lot. They changed their quarterback. I think it was week 5. Jim mentioned that to us, and ever since there's a huge difference now with Blue Team than let's say before. And they have a few guys on the team that we don't necessarily talk about a lot. Delary is one. David Orwood is another one. They have a good team, and TDs and Beer don't match up well against Blue Team.
Why?
They're you know how we say like that they're good route runners, they're crafty, but they're not necessarily the strongest athletes. I find Blue Team's the other way around.
So you're saying you have to go in the gym and work out?
Or be younger.
Yes, both
Time travel.
things be right. I find that Blue Team could be faster, and if they could hit a few drags, they could turn up the field for 40 yards, whereas TDs and Beer might have to march the field more
Also,
consistently.
Blue team, we're in the pennies, maybe harder, grab the flags, extra layers of clothing.
Or it could be heavier on you, slow you down.
What do we rate Avery Lala now
As an
What's the
FPF
scale?
as an FPF quarterback at this
What's
level?
the scale?
We'll go 1 to 5.
What's 1? What's
1
5?
being
Five
low,
being
5
highest.
being high.
Okay, but can you... Like,
So as per our expectations, or
What are we
as
comparing
coming
with-
coming in with no
we look at his
expectations?
development, his growth into this
but
league
what do we...
here.
what's 5? What are we comparing him to?
No, this 5 is an excellent quarterback.
4
One
is
is
the division.
Compared to... Okay, for the division.
yeah.
Thank you, Peeze, for being
Yeah.
precise.
He actually
No.
said for the division
He
at the
did.
beginning.
I don't
You were
listen.
talking as
Yeah.
he was explaining.
I
so
never
it's not-
listen
Yeah.
to these guys.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you want me to start? Okay.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
For this division, I'd say above average, but that's it.
So
If that,
I think
I think that I qualify him as above average because we all see the potential he could have.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we see flashes, but it's not consistent.
I think part of the problem is us. We've created the expectations for him.
Potentially,
sense.
yes.
The Anton Sakis.
Yeah,
as
like
we would
like
use
so.
Brett Proctor term.
I say, let's say 3 is the absolute middle. Like that's where he's at, which is fine, because I don't know if he's even allowed to drink yet. You know, like
That's true.
let's give him a second.
That's fair.
This is a man's league, and like he's becoming a man, right?
That's
like
fair.
let's give him a second. The physical tools are all absolutely there, but I think he's gonna need to find a system of plays that works for him. That's not called by Tony Lala. That's not called by Brad Evans. It's not influenced by
Throw
outside
off from the
forces.
stands.
But either way, just
Yeah.
like he needs to take control of the huddle. He needs to be the voice. Everyone needs to shut the flock up.
But we
and let him
also
speak.
haven't seen
And
him
then-
play with different guys than this roster, right?
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen him play with. Let's say,
1-800 Peeze. Just give me a call.
no, but it would be like I would be interested in seeing him play with a team like the receivers from Team YS.
Yeah.
If you
A
give
more
him
athletically
if you
gifted
give him
team.
very explosive
Or
receivers,
same age group as him.
what happens now?
Yeah.
Would it be
Actually,
different?
take him, put him on the process. That's fun. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, nothing against
but that's what I'm
Hernandez,
saying.
I'm just saying.
It might not work. Maybe
Yeah.
we're wrong.
Guys, same age group who are athletically gifted as he is.
But even a huddle that he can dominate.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But I think he has the arm strength to make us fast receiver, very good.
All right, Falcons Saiyans. Saiyans won 44-25 off a GM pick six.
That's a good game.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, Saiyans.
GM there.
He's okay.
Yeah, Saiyans GM. Can they handcuff a very good offense and Rafael Ducasse-Lapalme, who had 16 TDs this year?
Yes.
Can you duplicate the performance from last time against them?
In what sense? He still put up like 3 touchdowns.
I know, but,
Would you have a
but
pick
you
six,
guys gave them their lowest output, like the worst loss of the season.
Here's hoping. Do you want me to analyze this, or
Yeah.
are you talking to me as a member of the Super Saiyans or as a member of the
Remember, it's
FPL
media,
staff? Okay.
objectively speaking.
Yeah, so Super Saiyans in that game were missing a lot of guys as well and still came out with the win. Tyler Doucette got ejected, but who's one of the top playmakers on the defense there. Rusher Janny Johnson was missing as well. So those 2 players on defense at full strength put the Saiyans a lot higher than they were before. John McQueen missing as well from that game, the defensive mind and like the heart and soul of the Saiyans.
Can you guarantee that there will be no ejections this time for Super Saiyans?
No.
All right.
So do you trust more than guys at quarterback? Jordan Allard or Pat Lefebvre?
Pat Lefebvre.
Pat Lefebvre by a long shot. And no offense to Jordan Lard, he's been doing this 6 seconds. He's very good and he's getting better. But Pat Lefebvre, man, he's the I know the only time we've talked about him is the one time GM basically tore him up and hated him and said he was terrible.
That's
And-
true.
Well, that's how Pat Lefebvre reacted. So, but essentially, honestly, he's to me one of the most impressive quarterbacks. And like he's the kind of guy like you see him show up at the field and you don't think much of him because he's a little bit older. He's a
Mhm.
bigger dude. But my God, he's forgotten more about football than this room will ever know. So he's an impressive quarterback, and I think he can be completely dominant in this game.
My one big problem with the Falcons though is that you've got Raphael Ducasse-Lapalme, you've got Pat Lefebvre, and you've got Dom Couture,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a sharp drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing is Super Saiyan has a better roster, better core than Falcons. Falcon as Pat Lefebvre, as Raphael Ducasse-Lapalme, as Dominic Couture, and as you mentioned, then they take a drop. So can someone else step up, make plays, and can the Falcons roster be good enough to compete with Super Saiyans, or will he be on Pat Lefebvre to be a Nero and make plays, tight windows and stuff because his receivers might not be able to make plays for them?
For a second, I saw Alexandre Joubert-Ville, and I was very excited for them. But I was like, wait,
No.
you only play one game.
It is now time for
The games that will be played later on this week:
yes to recap
I like this one.
next week.
It's a good one.
Longhorns against Texas Bearmans,
Longhorns.
Horns.
Keep it long, keep it horny.
Grand Lionel against Les Flamands Fous.
Flamands. I'm sorry.
Really? Well, that's the best things you want?
Yeah,
No, Flamin Fou.
Yeah.
Half
do
a
it.
Stars against 10 Guys 1 Cup.
10 guys.
No, give me half a stars. Sorry, Dan.
Dan's gonna kill
Give
you.
me
on
10
that one.
guys,
Probably.
1 cup.
Politics, right?
Smokin' Axolots against Mavericks.
A's.
Yeah.
Smoking Ace.
GHB against Warriors.
GHB.
Greendale.
Greendale. That's the way it is.
HBH against Mud Dogs.
My dogs.
Ooh, Mud Dogs.
Mud Dogs.
Finessers against Hurricane Season.
Finessers.
No, give me season. Give me the Canes.
That's going to be close, but give me Finessers.
Preachers against Ghosts.
Ghost.
Preachers with the upset, potentially.
Preachers with the upset.
Captains of these teams, check these dates. Tell your players. Big reminder again.
Yeah, there's about 5,000 of them watch right now for the 5A, 5B podcast.
Yes.
You're popular, Mo.
I know. Next.
TDs and Beer, Blue Team.
Blue
Teas and
team.
beer.
No, blue team, buddy.
I'm going TDs and beer.
Teas and beer.
Pick a game.
I know, I'm thinking. Give me a second.
Mogadishu Pirates against Les Affreux. Or just
Pirates.
Affreux now.
Pirates.
Affreux with the upset.
I flew the upset.
Wrecking Crew against Team YS.
Crew.
Speaking of upsets.
Wrecking Crew.
Team YS.
Yeah, Team YS upset.
Big upset.
Wrecking Crew.
Takeover against Punishers.
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 Take over.
Sturdom against Black Knights.
Sturdom.
Still them.
Black Knights.
Moss City Spartans.
Spartans.
My city.
Give me Spartans. Give me Spartans.
Fun Boys The Process.
Process.
Process. I trust.
Process.
Falcons Super Saiyans.
Saiyans.
Falcons.
Have we seen the comment from Dominique Couture yet?
Oh, we have not.
This is gonna be a fun one, and I actually
Falcons.
want GM to read it out himself. Just 'cause.
Nice.
Malgré mon absence, les Falcons vont rocker la place. Sorry, GM.
Sorry, buddy.
I still think Falcons are going.
Yeah,
Simon does
Falcons,
too.
Yeah. Next game.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
It's the music time.
Good night, Rednecks. We'll see you whenever we see you.
Hopefully next season
Maybe.
in spring.
Yeah.
It
I'm
is-
excited for them to come back.
We do want teams to come back. Okay.
Yeah, so now. Come back. Sign up. Open season begins April 10th.
If you've been snubbed, snub again and come back. Because he won't snub you. It's all his fault.
No snitch.
It's also you.
No, stop that.
Yes.
I don't care what words.
Everybody here
Everyone else
is partially responsible.
Snub again.
All equally partially responsible.
Did you say snub again?
I did not. You have. You started this. You started this hashtag for no reason.
Snub again.
No one knows why.